we're going to talk about leadership and staff development. So they're going to move into the next level here and talk about leadership and staff development. There are two aspects of value here. Value an employee to the organization and value of the employee. So when you think about value, don't you want to know that you have value to your organization? Don't you? Everybody wants to know that if I work here, that I have a sense of value. I've always said this to business leaders, and I'll say it here too. I find it important or interesting. A person comes in for a job interview, and they give you their resume, right? And we look at this resume over and go, wow, Mallory, this is great. We want you on the team. And we hire her because she has all these strengths, and we see that she is a value what? To us. She has everything we need. So we love her resume. We think she's great. She brings value to us. And then the rest of the time she works here, we point out all of her mistakes and all of her faults. I find that interesting. And that's what a lot of companies do. I go, wait a minute. I thought you hired her because she's a value to you. Yeah, but she does all that. I go, wait, but where's those values? Are they still there? Well, yes. That's why we always say in our work, you always got to share appreciations. And we'll talk more about this afternoon in the closing sessions. You got to share value. Make sure people know that they have value, not just as a person, but also to the organization. And I'm very big on that when it comes to about respect and appreciating people. So does a person feel like they have value to the organization? And do they feel that they have value as a person? That is apart from their role. Got it? And that's what my brother does extremely well. When he goes around and talks with people, they feel like they have value, not just to him, they feel like they are valued. And by to him, I mean to the organization. They feel like he values them, okay? Consider where the employee is today and where they want to be in the future. I gave you that story a little bit earlier about Don. We had that low productivity in that guy and said, money wasn't an issue, where would you be? And I'd be playing music. So he helped him come up with a way to do that, but Don had a great employee for 4 years. Phenomenal success. All right, what are the goals and aspirations of the employee? What are the goals and aspirations of that employee? This is why it's important to give continued education and training. You increase the value of the employee, but you also increase the value of the employee to the organization by developing them. All right? We must become more valuable to the workplace. Anybody heard of the name Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N? He speaks a lot in personal development. He's a huge business consultant, bigger than Zig Ziglar. I encourage you to go look up Jim Rohn and listen to him. But one of the things he actually said once is that people misunderstand this. He said, people misunderstand this one fundamental. People go, well, wait a minute. I only make minimum wage. I should make more. How come I make minimum wage and that person makes $70,000 a year, $100,000 a year? He said, you're missing the point. It is not that you make minimum wage because the job you're in, that is the value of that position to the marketplace. You missed that. And he's right. That position's value to the marketplace is that hourly rate. That person's position to the marketplace is worth $100,000 a year. So if you want to be $100,000 a year position, you must develop yourself to be that value to the marketplace. You with me? Some people have never developed themselves to be that. Thus, they have those low-paying jobs. That's their value to the marketplace. I don't want to be that person, so I have developed myself so that if I go into a job, I have a higher value to the marketplace and that organization. That makes sense? That's not to say those people don't have value as a person, but their value to the marketplace. What do you bring to offer to the marketplace? Someone has no education and going into a psychiatric hospital couldn't be a doctor. That requires medical school and an internship as a psychiatrist. That guy's value to the marketplace is more than $100,000. Right? If I had a bachelor's in psychology, my value at that point to the marketplace is, oh, you can assist the nurses and do what they tell you as a mental health worker, because that's all you can do. And as you increase your knowledge and your ability, then we can move you into the intervention office. Then I met Ray. And then I got my 2 master's degrees, and my value increased. And I got my doctorate, my value increased. And I'm still increasing my value to the marketplace. Does that make sense? And people lose sight of that. We must become more valuable to the workplace. But if you quit being more valuable to the workplace, then you're probably going to see your positional authority stop. Your position stop. With me? Because you're losing value to the workplace that doesn't move yourself up. And people get offended by that. It's not about you as a person. It's just how the business works. Okay? Next. So what's the difference here? When it comes to this, managers focus on process. Leaders then focus on people. All right? They focus on people. Management want facts, where leaders do care about how you feel. This is the facts. Yeah, but they're hurt right now. They're bothered. It doesn't matter. The leader go, wow, you're really struggling with this, aren't you? Yes, I am. Okay, let's talk about that struggle. See, the leader will take time to get into this muddy area. The manager doesn't care how you feel. Just do what I say. Here's the facts. All right? Remember, we saw earlier, managers push, leaders pull. They bring you along, all right? You can't lead from behind. You only lead from the front, as we always say. Management is they're the head. They focus on the head. Here they focus on the heart. Management is positional power. They use persuasive power. Very, very different when it comes to developing people. Management is about control. Leadership is about commitment. Management is about problem solving. This is about possibility thinking. See, I love living here. Because what happens is when you move into possibility thinking, all things are possible. But they don't think in terms of possibility. They just think of how to solve this problem. But once I have the problem solved, then what have you really done? There's nothing to work towards. These people think in terms of what's possible. What's possible right now? And when you start opening your brain up to possibility, your brain opens up and go, whoa, wait a minute, we can, this is possible. All these things become possible. And once you create possibility, you create avenues of choice. All right? You'll see this a little bit later when we talk about communication in a little more detail. Management's reactive. Here they're proactive. Now this is very different because this has to do with your brain. This part of your brain right down here, the brainstem, this part of your brain is triggered at 1/2000th of a second. Whenever this part of your brain, which is known as the stress response of the brain, whenever you get triggered to the fight, flight, or freeze response, and you're triggered at that part of your brain 1/2000th of a second, there is no rational thinking to this part of your brain. It's instinctual. Animals have this part of the brain as well. Problem is when you go into the fight, flight, or freeze response, you're in a reactive posture, just like an animal. But unlike an animal, humans can talk. So when you communicate out of the fight, flight, or freeze response, biologically speaking, you're really no different than an animal at that point. But one thing that animals don't have that humans have is called a neocortex. It's the rational mind. See, animals can feel fear because they have a sort of emotions as well. They just can't think about fear, reason, feel, make judgments about it. We can. Mature people aren't reactive. They stop, take a deep breath, think about what's going on, they're self-aware, and they make a better choice. Thus, they're proactive. There's a difference between responding and reacting. Leaders respond. Managers just react. Management are about rules. Here they're about values. Management about goals. Here it's about vision. And management about standardizing things. Here it's innovation. So when you think about developing your team, who would you rather serve under? And these people will develop you far greater than these people will, right? And these are the kind of people we want to serve under because these kind of people will actually develop you. There's a principle of the fish tank. Let me kind of give it to you. There's a goldfish in a small bowl, and he's not going to grow. If you take a goldfish and put them in a small bowl, they're not going to grow. That's just the way it works, all right? Because the environment affects the growth of the fish. Now, if you take that small goldfish and put it in a very large place, it will grow larger. In other words, the small confines of the bowl actually stops the goldfish from growing too large. Put it in a larger area, it'll actually grow more. Same thing with us as people, isn't it? If you put yourself in an organization that's small-minded, that's repressive, you won't grow. Your value is diminished. Put you in an organization that allows for possibility, that allows for growth, that allows people to expand who they are. They grow. If they grow, you grow. Because I always say when us wins, the organization wins, right? And so think about it this way. So I wrote here to myself, because managers see people as they are, leaders develop people into what they can be. Did you get that? Managers see you as you are. I see you for what you can be. And then what I do is because I see in you something that you could be, I bring it out of you. That's what I saw in Matt. This young guy, right? Arrogant as can be, cocky as can be, very wealthy, and proud of it that he abuses people along the way. I get more done than people with master's degrees get done. And I don't have a college degree. But I also knew right away he's stepping on a lot and hurting a lot of people, right? And what he's learned is I saw in him a teachable spirit, especially on the third day when he said, I've never met a man that inspired me. Would you mentor me? Well, that said to me he was teachable. So I thought, okay, I'm going to jump on that and see what can happen. You see, I saw that in him, and I want to bring those parts of him out. Okay, which means I have to speak into the negative parts, don't I? All right. So let's talk about potential here real quick. Webster defines potential as having capacity for existence, but not yet existing. Having force or power, anything that may be what? Possible. Possible. So let me ask you this. What's your potential? Funny, you ask people that, and they go, well, I don't know. And that's why you never get there. What's your potential? Do you know what your potential is? I know what mine is. I'm achieving it. You see? And then I find out from others who know me that I have greater potential than I realized I did. I go, I never saw that in me. Oh, yeah. And that opened up more possibility because I realized there's potential in these other areas of my life, right? I'm going to tell you how I got in corporate work. Wasn't something I was looking for. I got into it because there was a senior executive at Blue Cross Blue Shield many years ago. His marriage failed. And he came to see me after years of therapy. Nothing helped. Someone sent him to me, go see Dr. Marks. He can help you for sure, but you better do what he says. And he did my 3-day intensive, and I did some follow-up. Saved their marriage, and I did actually renew their wedding vows. It's probably about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. This guy goes, on our return visits, he said, you didn't teach me about marriage. I said, nope. You taught me about relationships. I said, exactly. He said, everything you taught me works in a workplace. I don't work anywhere. It's relationship skills that make us good leaders and good people. He said, you got a corporate program? I said, what do you want? He said, I want you to come teach my executive sales staff. I said, give me 2 months, I'll have it. And that was my foray into the business world, taking this work and moving it over there. Okay? I never thought I had what? Potential for that. But he saw it. He saw it. And because he saw it and wanted it, it created a possibility for me, which has been going on now for about 12 years, doing some corporate work as well, out of things I do. So here's some three key questions, all right? Where are you going? All right? Where are you going? Where does the employee see themselves in the future? That's a quick question. Where are you going? Where does the employee see themselves in the future? Do you see yourself at this company in the future? Do you know what you're going to be doing? Where are you headed? What do you want for yourself? You just want to stay doing what you're doing? It's not to demean this person, but I know somebody very close to me. 30 years retired at Disney. He just stayed a frontline security guard the whole 30 years. Never advanced, never wanted to, went in, walked the park, talked to people, was offered promotions for years, and they quit offering it to him. Because he had no other existence except to go there, wear his uniform, be a security guard, and go home. That is not me. It would drive me batty, right? I'm driven, right? But that's not what he wanted. He knew who he was, and they figured out he doesn't want to do that, and they quit offering promotions to him. All right? What do you believe in? If you want to develop people, what do you believe in? What are your values? In this room, I'm sure there's a number of different values here. Right? You have all kinds of different people. You got conservatives and liberals. You got religious and non-religious. You have all kinds of, and all of them have different value systems to them. And you put them all together and call it a team. Isn't that amazing? What are your values? What do you believe in? Let me ask you this one. This. You think, why is this a business question? It's a business question because it affects you, who you are, and who you are affects what happens in business. Why do you exist? Why do you actually exist? So everybody has to have an answer to that question. And if you don't have an answer, it's because it doesn't matter to you. But if someone asks you, why do you exist? I mean, let's be honest. Did you choose to be here? You didn't choose to exist. Someone made that decision for you, right? So why are you here? What's your purpose? Want to fulfill it? Religion has answered that, but other ways have answered that as well. Why do you exist? That has a lot to do with how you approach life, right? Thus, it has to do with a lot how you treat people and how you will act and be on a team. Visions, values, and purpose. Develop your staff around these things: vision, values, and purpose. What's your purpose or meaning in life? So think about these three things. What's your vision, what's your value, and what's your purpose? That's really what I'm saying. And develop your team, staff development around those three things. All right? So real quickly here, I'm not sure where you're jumping way ahead of me. So hang on. There's 4 things staff need. Okay, so next slide. Okay, hang on. 4 things staff need for consistent development. I'm wrong. Vision. What is the vision of the organization? Do you model that vision? Best shared over a cup of coffee or through informational meetings, informal meetings. Right? What is the number one place that people have business meetings today? Anybody know what it is? Starbucks. Do you all know that? It's the number one place where people conduct business today. Starbucks. Well, let's run to Starbucks and talk there. I mean, it's a great niche for a company, isn't it? They create an environment people want to go, buy a $4 cup of coffee, you can get somewhere else for 99 cents, whatever, and they stay there, offer you free Wi-Fi. Oh, you can tell I'm a tea drinker, right? Tea drinker. Get $1 of that for McDonald's. But they create an environment. It's not just about coffee. People go there and sit and talk. I mean, I've talked to a business leaders. I'm meeting one, big guy on the very prominent man in Jacksonville. Heard me speaking at Rotary clubs. Hey, I want to meet with you. And I said, okay, we come to your office. No, meet me at Starbucks. They have iced tea? I don't know. So I'm going to go meet him at Starbucks next week. This is a prominent leader in the city of Jacksonville, very wealthy. And where does he want to meet me? Starbucks. Which only validates that Starbucks has created a niche, which is the most place, that's where people go and visit, all right? This is a great place to find out what a person's vision is. It's informal. Just sit down and talk with them. What's your vision? What do you hope for? What would you like to see happen, all right? Skills for the job. What are 3 of the 4 most important skills needed for the job? Communication skills, relationship skills. Conduct trainings that develop their skills in areas that are their strengths, all right? Next, develop an outstanding staff. Growing organizations need growing people. I refer to this thing called U University. I called mine Marks University. I told you I read 3 to 4 books a month. Here's what I do. I do a lot of traveling in my car. I don't listen to music. I get audiobooks. I'm constantly developing my mind. I told my wife, I said, research shows that people who read a lot are significantly less likely to get Alzheimer's. Which means, girl, you'll forget me before I forget you. So I keep joking with her, right? But I use those opportunities for development. You see, I'm reading a great book right now by I give it to you as a part of your university. If you want to talk about personal development and developing yourself, there is a book by Napoleon Hill that was written in 1937. Don't write this one down. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Very famous book on personal development. But he wrote a second one that sat dormant for 72 years because his family refused to let it get published until after 2 people died. So for 72 years, this book would not be published. It was published in 2011. It's phenomenal. It's called Outwitting the Devil. It was an interview he had in 1938 with Satan. Now, you almost wonder, did he really do it or not? It's not a Christian book. But he asked Satan questions about how he keeps people from being successful in life. It is one of the most powerful books I've read in a decade. And the 2 guys I'm mentoring, I'm making them read it right now. Because it's insight into our fears and how we always hold ourselves back. It's a powerful book. You see, that's a part of my U University. I was listening to it 6 times on audio. And I thought, I need to get the book. So I bought the book so I could start highlighting it. Can't go back and find a page, right, in an audiobook. All right? Exposure to the changes, new information in the employee's field increases their value and yours. All right? Tips for staff development. Encourage personal development. Staff who understand their value will desire to increase their value. Train them, educate them, and development. This what we're doing today is leadership training, right? But it's also staff development, right? The group here said, hey, this is value for us to host this filming, and we're going to develop our staff around that, okay? A good organization was going to educate and train their people, all right? Develop a plan. Staff development does not just happen. As all things, it must be intentional. Put dates and experiences down on the calendar. Help the staff develop goals, develop themselves, and put dates on the calendar to see these through. One of the things I'm starting next year with my team in Jacksonville, the first Tuesday of every month, I'm spending 2 hours teaching them different parts of how to help people. All right, relationship skills and some clinical skills, those kind of things. Because they're like, we want to know more what you know. Okay. And so once a month, we got a 2.5 hour class that we're doing second Tuesday every month, and I'm going to develop my team and their clinical skills because they want to learn more, all right, and those kind of things, and helping families. Put an employee with a mentor. A mentor. I'm mentoring 3 men right now, all right. My wife and I we're at the empty nest now. I have 3 kids. They're 26, 23, and 21. They're all out, but there's this young girl. She's a Muslim, and very, very broken home. Very, very bad home, and had no place to live, and so we brought her into our house. So she lives with us now, and we love it, and my wife has someone that she gets to pour her life into, you see, and so my wife is pouring her life into her, right? And I remember when she moved in a long time ago, earlier this year. She wears a hijab. She doesn't wear just wears a scarf. It's a hijab. And I said, listen, do you have to wear that because you're not at your actual house or because I'm around? She said, well, typically because I'm not at my home. I can take it off when I'm home. I said, oh, well, Llewellyn and I like for you to get to a point where you feel like this is your home. So if you want to take it off and put on shorts and t-shirt, just hang out, feel free. She goes, oh, well, thank you. No problem. Well, the next morning, when I came down to leave for work, she was in the den with Luella, and she had it off. And I came down, and I said, give her a big hug, because she's short. I gave her a big hug, kiss her top of the head. I said, well, welcome home. She grinned. She said, yes, I am. I said, good. You see, she's being mentored by Luella. She's got a really dysfunctional home, and Luella's pouring her life into her, all right? Develop and expand your professional network. Have a solid network. Having a solid network is imperative to the success of future leaders, all right? A network is a great source of information, advice, support, and inspiration. Everybody in here needs to have a sense of a network. People that you can contact, people you can go to and build yourself, all right, and get to know. I have mine. What is yours, okay? And lastly, move out of your comfort zone. You can't move forward if you don't grow, and you can't grow if you never leave your comfort zone. If you're insecure, if you have insecure people on your team, they're not going to do this because there's fear, there's insecurities, and insecurities hold you back. And I always tell people, don't let your fears hold you back. Your fears are just fears. Feeling fear never killed you. It's what you did with it, right? Challenge your fears and move forward. Challenge your fears and move forward. And so I've had to do that. I grew up very insecure as a kid. Always feared rejection and abandonment, growing up in a broken home. But I learned that I had to be able to get up and do some things and challenge myself. And when I did, I found, hey, I can do this. You see? And I had people behind me supporting me, encouraging me forward. So move out of your comfort zone. So ask yourself this question. What's in the area of my life that I'm afraid to move into because my fears hold me back? What's an area that I could move into but my fears hold me back? And I would say to you, find that thing and go challenge it. Get a support system, figure out what you need to do, and go take a risk. My son right now is in Florida State in student government. He got Senator of the Year, Ethical Courage Award. He's won a couple of scholarships. And I was on the homecoming court. So that was pretty cool. But he's saying, Dad, I had all these insecurities, but I learned how to challenge those. And he goes, and each time I challenge, I find out that I can make it. And I said, son, healthy people figure that out. Unhealthy ones are ruled by their fears and never move forward. And I said, that's wise on your part. So I'm glad that he's picked up to move out of the comfort zone.